Hello my friends, today I have a super awesome tutorial for you, and that is the easiest way to fix your pictures. My name is Olivio, I'm a professional designer, and I want to thank all of my patrons who support me and make these videos possible. Thank you for that. Also, as you can see, I've been at the barber and got my beard cut into shape, so I think I look a lot better now. And this is also the kickoff for my new second channel, where I will talk about my life, take you with me on the road to photo shootings, to art exhibitions, all these kind of cool things, and we can talk about all kinds of topics. If you're in my super fan group on Facebook, you will see that video earlier because I still have to cut it, and the rest of you will see it when the channel launches, which will be super soon. Okay, let's start with the tutorial now. What I want to show you today is the scope tab with all this craziness in here, and I will show you how easy those are actually to read and to understand, and how easy it makes the job for you to edit your pictures. So let's go up here to View and Studio. And down here you see Scope. Make a check marks next to that. This will pop up the tab for scopes, and so you can see that window. So now the thing is, what is it? What does it show me? How can this be easy? It looks like kind of an alien landing thing from Area 51, but it's not. It's a super easy, cool tool. Intensity waveforms are the luminosity in your picture, so the brightness or the darkness in your picture, basically. In this picture, for example, no values go down to completely black, but also no values go up to completely bright. The lower values over all of this waveform are the black areas, and the upper part are the bright areas. Also, this is reading your picture from left to right, so this is a true representation basically of your picture as it lays out in front of you, with the values dark in the lower parts, bright in the upper parts. We also have the RGB waveform, where you have all your RGB channels, the 3 channels, meshed together into one big waveform. And if you want them to be separated, you can also go with the Parade, where you have the channels individually next to each other. So this is the complete picture, and this is the complete picture, and this is the complete picture, but like just next to each other. And then we have 2 others, the power, spectral density. This is about the frequencies in your picture. And then you have also the vector scope. This is a bit more useful because it shows you the saturation in your picture. But the most useful, the best of them, I would say, is the RGB waveform or RGB Parade. So you can see here, this is kind of spread in the middle very nicely, very widely. And when we switch over to another picture like this one, you can see most of the picture are dark values, so a lot of the stuff is going on down here, and a little bit is going on up here because we have these sparks in the middle. And here you can also see how this is actually following the picture from left to right, because the bright areas are here and also the bright areas are here in the middle. Good. Let's go over to the picture we actually want to edit today, which is this picture, and you can see we can do some improvements with that. Now, the thing why these waveforms are so cool is because you don't have to trust your eyes or your monitor or the daylight situation or anything like that. You can just look on the waveforms to see what is going on, analyze it, and adjust it really easily, because now you know what's going on and you've seen. It's super cool. It's very easy. So we can see the dark areas are not very dark because everything is hitting this first line here. There's a little bit below that, but most of the dark areas are not really dark. And we have a lot of bright areas here. Also, there is this kind of arc where everything is kind of bending up and kind of crushed together in this kind of arc that's going on. So let's fix that a little bit. Okay, the first thing I would like to suggest to you, for example, is to go to Adjustments and Levels. And here, first of all, you get a histogram, which is really useful, where you also get the color channels. But now watch the difference. When I move in the black level to the side, you can see that this is going down and gives me a really good understanding of what is going on. So you can see also in the picture, now the areas are getting darker if I move this in. But with my waveform over here for the scope, I can really see how low all the different areas go, not just the dark areas, but also the other areas, how close they come to crushing into the 0 level down here, and in which parts of my image this happens from left to right. So this is very useful. Let's move this a little bit back, maybe like that. So some parts are touching it and they are actually black, and then the others are kind of dark. So that's pretty good. Now we can also say we want these to touch a little bit higher up here, and let's see, let's move this over. So like this looks good. Maybe a bit lower, because you can see like this looks good to me, but then I look over here and I see that some of the values are crushing into the 100 barrier. So they are blown out, which are probably these lights here in the background. For them, it's actually okay to be blown out. So we can maybe try to go a little bit further. Let's see, like that looks good. Just look that you don't have any other blown out areas, so you still have to use your eyes a little bit. Don't just go by technology, also go by taste, but this helps immensely to adjust these kind of things. So we have gamma. And now the interesting thing for gamma is basically what we have done right now with the black level and the white level is to introduce more contrast to our picture. But a contrast also has a middle area, like a balance between the darker and the brighter areas. And this is basically what gamma does. So with gamma, for example, if I push it over here to the left, well, that's a bit far. But if I push it over like this, you can see that the balance now is moved over to the brighter side, and everything is moving up here. So maybe that's not exactly what we want to have. And if we push it into the other side, you can see that all the areas are moved down here. And you can now think about, what kind of picture do I want to have? Like, this could be okay. You could like this kind of thing, but maybe you also wanted to have a little bit brighter. And you can see how the spread is over our scope, over the picture from left to right, again, analyzing all these kind of different values in here. So let's push this a little bit back so we have a nice spread. So we could go like this is nice. You see, nice spread out here of all the different values in the picture. And if I look at the picture, it actually looks pretty cool. I don't like the knee down here, but the clothing looks pretty cool. So that's nice. So I might think you can see now, because I moved the gamma over, also a lot more values are touching the higher areas up here, 100. So let's move this back a little bit. And you can see now less of them are touching it. And our knee now looks a lot better. So the image looks a lot better now, I would say. Pretty cool. You can see how easy you can fix these things by just checking out the waveforms and then also checking out your picture a little bit. So this is really, really helpful. So I would say this looks nice, but we can do more adjustments, for example, about the vibrance and the saturation of the picture. So for that, we might want to switch over to our vector scope. And this already looks pretty nice, but depending on the use of your image, you might want to change that. For example, if the picture shows up pretty small on some social media pages, or the other pictures on that social media page are well saturated themselves, you might to go into that kind of competition. Otherwise your pictures might look a little bit too muted, too black and white, you know what I mean? So depends on your taste, depends on your purpose. For that, for example, you can go here to adjustments, and that is our vibrance adjustment. So go here and you have two levers down here. One is for vibrance, one is for saturation. So you might wonder, what is the difference actually? Well, saturation is the overall saturation basically. So if you move this up, your whole picture is getting more saturated or less saturated down until 0, where it's just black and white. And you can see how the vector scope is actually reflecting that. So if you move this up, there's a lot of saturation. Too much saturation, I would say. So let's move this down, but you can still say, I want to have a little bit more saturation. Now, the difference to vibrance is that vibrance will saturate the areas that are more muted while leaving the areas that are already well saturated as they are. And this can be very helpful. So you can see if I move this up, it's not the complete picture that is getting more or less saturated. It's just certain areas that are getting more or less saturated. So you can play around with that and see if you like the results, if this is helping you to create a nicer picture. And the last tool I want to show you for today is the good old color balance. I really love that tool. And in this case, we can adjust the midtones to make our picture a little bit warmer or a little bit cooler. So you can see we have here the combination cyan red and yellow blue, also magenta green. So we can use that, for example, if we push this over here a little bit and this over here a little bit, you can see that the picture is getting a bit warmer. So it has a bit warmer touch, but we could also go the other way. We push this down over here and you can see that then before and after the picture gets a little bit cooler, but just in the mid-tones. This is the important thing here. So the shadows and the highlights stay basically the same and we just influence these kind of areas. So that can be a pretty nice, easy tool to make your picture a little bit warmer if you want to. You can see this is a very nice way to do that. Okay. So this is a really easy way with these scopes that you have over here to adjust your image. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you soon and maybe also see you on my second channel where, well, I will share my life with you and want to take you on the road with me to experience some cool stuff. Also, here is a big thank you to all of my supporters. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye.